Toyota, the world's largest automaker, has found unauthorized activity on several of its services in Europe and Africa. Data from Toyota Financial Services is reportedly stolen by the Medusa Ransomware gang. The company was given 10 days by their organization to pay their $8 million ransom. The Medusa Ransomware group has already made a name for itself by employing aggressive tactics, even though they are an emerging threat actors. The gang has targeted a variety of organizations, including companies, governmental institutions, and healthcare providers. The Medusa Ransomware group has threatened in the past to expose stolen content, including private data, if victims fail to pay the ransom. In other cases, the group has even disclosed the stolen data after the victims had paid the ransom. Today, November 16, the Medusa group posted claims on its leak site, along with screenshots of several papers proving to the legitimacy of their attack and displaying sample data that was stolen. Multiple spreadsheets, financial records, employee email addresses, and pictures of a Serbian passport are all included in the files. Unhashed account passwords and usernames for a variety of production and development settings are supplied in one document in particular, along with much more. A great deal of sensitive information allegedly obtained from Germany's Toyota Financial Services have been made public by a ransomware organization. The leak site for Medusa identified Toyota Motor Corporation as a Japanese multinational automaker with its headquarters located in Toyota City, Aichi, Japan. Toyota is a globally recognized automobile manufacturer, producing over 10 million automobiles annually. The leaked data was obtained from Toyota Financial Services in Germany. Located in Cologne. Toyota Deutschland GmbH is a subsidiary of Toyota Motor Europe, TME, which is headquartered in Brussels, Belgium. The full date of the data release, November 26, is 10 days away, and there is a countdown on the leak site. For $10,000, the gang will extend the deadline by 1 day. In order to investigate this act and reduce risk, the corporation put a few systems offline. They have also begun to work with law enforcement. In most countries, they have started to bring their systems back up. We are working diligently to get systems back online as soon as possible, and we regret any inconvenience caused to our customers and business partners. As of now, this incident is limited to Toyota Financial Services Europe and Africa, according to the company. Cybersecurity analyst Kevin Beaumont gave emphasis on the fact that Toyota systems that are accessible online are vulnerable to the Citrix bleed vulnerability, which was made public late last month and has already affected a number of significant corporations and governmental organizations. The car maker has had to deal with many cybersecurity incidents in the last 3 years. A significant one which came out in May was the disclosure of information on more than 2 million Japanese cars dating back to over a decade ago. And let's dig deeper into what Medusa ransomware is. In a world where cutting-edge technologies are created on a daily basis, cybercriminals are likewise producing ransomware on an hourly basis. And one such dangerous type of software that became well known is the Medusa ransomware. First detected in June 2021, the Medusa ransomware family is a relatively young strain of ransomware. It targeted the Minneapolis school district in March 2023 and demanded $1 million. In addition, it made a $500,000 demand against Gujarat Mineral Development Corporation, GMDC. Likewise, it launched an attack on PhilHealth more recently and now on Toyota Financial Services. Why is Medusa a threat? Medusa falls under the category of ransomware, which is malicious software that locks down and encrypts a victim's files before requesting a fee to unlock them. This type of ransomware is known as human-operated since human attackers are the ones that use it and distribute it, as opposed to it spreading automatically. Targeted attacks on well-known companies are the hallmark of the Medusa ransomware. Using their ransom letters and file extensions, affiliates seem to be using a version of ransomware as a service, RAAS. All Medusa attacks, in spite of these variations, employ the same technique to breach networks and encrypt data. Usually, phishing emails or malicious attachments are used to distribute the Medusa ransomware. It can also proliferate via torrent websites that host malicious adverts, external remote services, or compromised files in addition to phishing emails. After installation, it starts encrypting files on the victim's computer, preventing the user from accessing them. The decryption key must be obtained from the attackers in order to decode files encrypted by the Medusa ransomware, which uses a powerful encryption algorithm. In order to obtain the decryption key, the attackers usually demand a ransom. The fact that the Medusa ransomware can seriously affect companies and organizations makes it a major menace. Employees may lose income and productivity when they are unable to access files that have been encrypted by the Medusa ransomware. It is also possible that companies and groups will need to pay the ransom to get access to their files again. As of right now, there is no publicly known decryption key for Medusa. But how does the Medusa ransomware work? The Medusa ransomware infiltrates company networks by detecting weaknesses, particularly unsecured remote desktop protocol (RDP). It then encrypts data and requests a ransom to unlock the decryption key. As was previously mentioned, phishing is also employed to encrypt data and obtain access to corporate networks. It uses PowerShell to run programs and commands. Moreover, it removes system backups and shadow copies, making it impossible for victims to recover their data. To execute commands with elevated privileges, the malware makes use of the Windows built-in Microsoft Connection Manager Profile Installer program. In order to breach endpoint defenses, Medusa can disable defensive software at this phase, including antivirus and anti-malware programs, and boot in safe mode. The ransomware payload is then further spread by Medusa by infiltrating additional computers and devices on the network through the use of remote services. The last stage is preventing system recovery and encrypting data. At this point, the ransom message shows up on the desktop and every file gets a new file extension. And while we're into it, let's check the biggest ransomware attacks ever recorded. In May 2017, WannaCry spread like a digital plague, engulfing the files of 250,000 Microsoft Windows users in 150 countries. A hacker collective known as Shadow Brokers attacked a Microsoft Windows PC vulnerability with an exploit known as Eternal Blue, which was allegedly developed by the US National Security Agency. The computer's files were encrypted by the hackers, who then requested payment in Bitcoin, a cryptocurrency, for a $300 to $600 ransom. Marcus Hutchins, a British security researcher, stopped WannaCry by registering the web domain within the malware's code. The total estimated losses was $4 billion. The ransomware virus known as Petya first appeared in March of 2016. It captured the system by infecting Windows machine's master boot record. June 2017 marked the release of NotPetya, a Petya variation. Two accounts distinguished it from the Petya. In order to infect systems, it first employed the Eternal Blue hack. Secondly, it had been modified such that its effects could not be undone. The attack was dubbed NotPetya, and the Russian military agency was accused of targeting Ukraine with political motivations. Ukraine accounted for 80% of their impacted businesses. Actually, there was a temporary shutdown of the radiation monitoring system at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in Ukraine. The malware was discovered to have spread via a backdoor that had been made during an upgrade for the Ukrainian company MEDOC. With $10 billion in lost revenue, NotPetya is the most expensive ransomware attack to date. The pro-Russian Conti group has declared the ransomware attack against the Costa Rican government to be an act of war. Their attack targeted 30 government institutions in Costa Rica, including the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Science, Innovation, Technology, and Telecommunication, as well as Raxa, the government internet provider. Every day that the government had to halt operations as a result of the hack, the damages incurred totaled $30 million. The country is still addressing the hacking incident. Having said that, what do you think of this ransomware? Or cyber attacks in general? Can EVs be hacked? Please share your thoughts in the comments box below. And if you've watched up to this point, thank you so much. For more videos about EVs, Toyota, Tesla, Ford, and the most recent auto news, please consider subscribing to Tech Addicts.